welcome to the Pelvic Power Podcast. My name is Penny, and I am the host of this lovely space. I am a pelvic floor yoga teacher who teaches people with pelvic pain how to use movement, breathwork, and body awareness to ease and manage their pain while living a pleasurable life. In this space, we'll be talking about all things taboo because we love it, and how to support your lovely pelvis and your lovely self on this journey that you are on. I'm very happy that you are here, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Pelvic Power Podcast, and welcome to 2025. I'm very happy that you are here today. I love this time of year because this time of year feels magical to me. We have Christmas, we have New Year's, then we have my birthday, which just passed, and then we have Valentine's Day, and then we have Easter, and then it's summer again, and you're thriving and you're feeling hot. So I love this time of year because it's just feeling magical. And this time with you is magical. So thank you for being here. Welcome. I'm very happy that you are here today. I'm going to be honest with you. I already recorded this episode, but the audio was shit. I sent back my new microphone because it wasn't up to par. It's not what I wanted. So we're just leaving that in the past. And also, apparently, someone told me that it kind of reminded them of a penis. And that's not really the vibe in this space. We like vulvas in this space. And right now I'm wearing booby earrings. They have teeny tiny boobs on them. If you're watching me on YouTube, can you see my booby earrings? I love them. They're so cute. I got them for Christmas from a friend. And yeah, I love this space, and it's about vulvas, not about penises. So that microphone went back to where it came from, and we're continuing our journey together. So welcome. The word of the day, no, the thought of the year is I don't want you to think one single bad thought about your vulva. Since we are just hopping off the bat, talking about vulvas, I just want to put it out there. In 2025, when you catch yourself thinking, saying anything badly about your vulva, can you retract that statement? I retract my statements quite often if I'm noticing I'm saying it, I'm thinking it, and then I'm like, oh, no, I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. I'm not saying that. I'm not thinking that about my lovely body right now. In 2025, we are loving on the vulva. I got a message on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about being intimate with someone for the first time if you haven't been intimate in a very long time, and maybe you've gone through surgeries, maybe you live with LS, or even if you haven't or don't live with lichen sclerosis, or you haven't gone through surgeries, your vulva, it's often a part of your body where we're just like, ew, let's not talk about that. Let's not touch it, and definitely do not look at it. But I feel like 2025 should be the year of the vulva. Let's just embrace our lovely vulvas together, okay? We're on this journey. This is the hand that we are dealt. We live with lichen sclerosis. How can we make the best out of this lovely journey that we are on? And so I invite you to catch yourself. If you're intimate with someone, if you're home, you're going to have a look in the mirror. What are some thoughts that are popping up for you, and how can you maybe reframe them? So, the feelings that we're feeling towards our body, towards our vulva, they're very valid, okay? You're going through a really challenging situation. You live with a condition that makes you dislike your body, perhaps. And I invite you to just, the feelings are valid, but also notice what comes up for you when it comes to thoughts and how you may be contributing to any lower vibe, lower vibrations when it comes to your condition. I don't even know if that makes sense. But if you catch yourself thinking, oh, fuck, my vulva is so ugly, that was me retracting a statement. So you retract the statement, and then you're thinking, okay, what does my vulva need right now? How can I love on my vulva even more instead of thinking this horrible thought that I just thought about my vulva? Because your vulva doesn't deserve that, okay? Your vulva shows up for you every single day, And I mean, she's struggling. She lives with like sclerosis and she's out there. She's hustling, babe. She is trying to support you every single day. She has like sclerosis. I feel bad for her. She doesn't need to hear any bad thoughts about how ugly she is or why are you the way that you are. In 2025, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. So just a little side note here before we dive into the episode today. In 2025, we are not thinking bad thoughts about our vulvas. We're not saying bad things about our vulvas. And if anyone were to say anything badly about your vulva, you need to give them the boot, kick them out of there. People are stupid sometimes. I know if you have been through it, people can be stupid. Kick them out of there. They don't deserve to be anywhere near you or your vulva. Putting it out there. So today's episode, I want to talk about pleasure. So, yes, I already recorded this episode and it was such a great episode, but the audio was not where I wanted it to be. So, I'm going to see if I can channel the same magic in this episode today. So, I posted a reel a couple of weeks ago saying sex does not have to involve penetration. And this is so true. This is so true. And I feel like when you live with pelvic pain, no matter what kind of pelvic pain you're living with, and if you've put a lot of pressure on yourself to have penetration, sex does not have to involve penetration. What if you take penetration off the table for a little bit and focus on pleasure instead? What makes you feel good? What makes you feel turned on? What makes your body feel juicy? What makes your body feel vibrant? If it's not penetration at this very moment, if it's not penetration ever again, can you take that off the table? And just because I'm saying ever again, I don't want you to go into a scarcity mindset. I'm just saying it's okay. It's okay to not want penetration. If you do want penetration in the future, maybe you can work yourself up to it. So, when you're going to be intimate with someone, and I think many of us feel that the anxiety, the stress about, oh my God, what if penetration doesn't work? Okay, we're taking that off the table. Penetration is not for me right now, and that's fine. I love my body. I honor my body. My body does not want to do penetration right now. Because if you are, we have to have penetration, has to work. How much more stress are you putting on your body, on your pain, and then you're causing yourself more pain by having penetration, even though your body did not want to have penetration? How can you focus on pleasure instead? What makes you feel good? When you are intimate with someone, your pleasure matters. It's not just about the other person. Us as women, we often feel that this is what I come across, this is what I have lived through myself, so I'm not talking for everyone here, but many of us often feel like the most important part is the other person. And your pleasure is just as important as the other person's pleasure. You do not exist just for their pleasure. You do not exist just for them. Being intimate with someone, choosing to be intimate with someone, it's a two-way street. And you showing up and being honest with yourself where you're at, how you want to feel, and asking for it, that is you supporting your body, that is you supporting your pain, that is you honoring your body for what it can do in that very specific moment. And take your time when you're being when you're being intimate with someone. The goal is always penetration, and to me, that is also so fucking boring. Because do you people that are just focusing on penetration, which has been me in the past, we are missing out on so many fun and pleasurable things by just focusing on penetration. You can have so much fun. And if you're with someone and they just focus on penetration, I'm like, ugh, That's pretty boring to me. Okay, you got to step it up a notch. You got to show me what you got. You got to show me how you can give me pleasure without even thinking about penetration. Without even thinking about penetration at all. But also pleasure that can be experienced all the time. This is an episode for another day, but just feeling pleasure when you're with someone else. So, for example, you live with pelvic pain. Maybe you've been living with pelvic pain for years. And this is something that I noticed a couple years ago that I had a really hard time feeling touch in general because I was just so desensitized from touch in general. I was just so desensitized from touch. You know when you're growing up and someone's touching your hair, someone's brushing your hair and it feels so good, or someone's, playing putting a little bit of pressure on your arm, caressing your arm. I just couldn't feel that. The sense of pleasure in that action. I just couldn't feel that. This was a couple years ago. And then after I went through a breakup with my ex, I was like, okay, I have to get back to pleasure, what feels good to me, and just really take my time with it. How can you experience pleasure that does not involve you being naked? Just touch, feeling yourself, but also how can you experience pleasure by yourself, you touching yourself, you experiencing touch? And also the thing about being intimate with someone else, since we're talking about the vulva today and how that's taboo, we don't touch ourselves, start to explore your body. If you don't want to touch your vulva, that's totally fine. You are your own being. You do not have to touch your vulva if you don't want to. I do encourage it a lot. But what are other parts of your body where you can feel pleasure? For example, the inner thighs. So your inner thighs are connected to your pelvic floor. You also have so many nerve endings from your pelvic floor, specifically from your clit, going down your inner thighs. How can you start to just caress your inner thighs? Feel into that part of your body using your hands. Get your partner to caress that part of your body, and just start to experience touch again. Start to experience pleasure that may not be seen as sexual, but can still be pleasure. Just the pleasure of touch. How can you invite that in again? But I also find that being intimate with just yourself is really important when it comes to being with someone else. So if you're nervous about being with someone for the first time, or just nervous being with someone that you've been with for a very long time because you're putting so much pressure on yourself and feeling like I have to do penetrative sex. You do not have to do penetration if you don't want to. Just going to repeat that over and over again. You knowing what is pleasure to you will make you feel so much more comfortable when you're being intimate with someone else. So when you're masturbating, when you are playing with yourself, how can you take that with you into being intimate with someone else? And I've probably said this before many times. If you are with someone and they are not caring about your pleasure, they're just focusing on themselves, fuck them. Like, fuck them. They could just leave. They could just be gone. Okay. They do not deserve to be intimate with you. Because why? Because you're a fucking goddess. You're a goddess. You are a gorgeous human being. You live with pelvic pain. You need some more attention, okay? You need more attention. You also deserve more attention. You're deserving of all of the attention. You're deserving of pleasure. They need to work a little bit harder, and I feel like a lot of people need to work harder when it comes to pleasuring someone like us, okay? Because they just need the lesson. They need the lesson, they need the challenge. I feel like people are just becoming lazy. And again, it's kind of boring. So you need more attention. You deserve more attention. And then one day, if you decide that I want to give penetration a go, I have been working with myself, with my partner. This feels good. This feels good. You're gonna notice perhaps that one day you're like, oh, you're ready for penetration. It's okay to try and then say no. It's okay to try and then say no. You don't have to. You don't have to go through with it if you don't want to. You can also start and then say, okay, I need a beat. So if I'm feeling like, okay, we're having penetrative sex, my pelvic floor is acting up. Take a moment. Take a moment, just be still. You can close down your eyes if you want to and just take a breath. And as you're taking that breath, see if you can actually breathe into your pelvic floor. So you're feeling your pelvic floor letting go. If they're still inside of you, this can be a little bit more challenging, but the more you practice this, the easier it will get. And also, if you're worried about them saying anything about you needing a beat, again, if they are going to say anything, skedaddle, get the fuck out of here. I don't fucking care. Like, you are not deserving of my pleasure. This is not just about you. This is also about me. I need to slow down for a moment because I need to take one breath. If you are not okay with this, you are not deserving of me because I'm a fucking goddess. You're a fucking goddess. They are not deserving of you. Also, how can your partner help you in this if you are being intimate with them? As I was saying, inner thigh massage, massaging around the hips, especially if you take that moment, maybe you're on top, they can massage your hips. They can just provide you with any kind of intimate stimulants without it being genitalia wise, if you know what I'm saying. So how can they support you? They can place a hand on your chest. They can hug you for a moment. They can take a breath with you. There are so many ways of being intimate with someone that does not have to involve penetration. Like, when I am talking about this, I get excited about the next time I'm going to be intimate with someone. Because there's so many ways to experience pleasure. And I feel like we just go through life and we're not experiencing all of the things that we can experience. And being someone that lives with pelvic pain, yes, I live with sclerosis. Yes, I am sexually active. It's scary, but there's so much fucking pleasure to be had out there that does not have to be penetrative sex. How can you get more excited about that? How can you become more excited about touch, about oral, about finding pleasure in the other person finding pleasure? So, yes, now I'm talking about them. But when you've been with someone and the pleasure is so good for them that it just turns you on, that's what we want. We want that deep, deep, intimate connection. That is the absolute best. So, as always, I'm going on a tangent today, but pleasure is super important. Penetration does not have to be included when you're being intimate with someone. You are a fucking goddess. You are deserving of pleasure. You are deserving of the attention. You may need a little bit more attention, and there's nothing wrong with that. Did you know that it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for someone with a vulva or vagina to actually heat up? I'm saying that with quotation marks. To heat up, to be ready for penetration. It might take longer, especially if you live with pelvic pain. Give yourself the time. Give yourself the time that you need so that you feel comfortable in your body and so that you feel comfortable with the other person. I get really excited when I think about the fact that you're going to have amazing intimacy with someone soon. When you start doing this work, you're going to notice that your body is capable of so much more than you actually think it is. And it's going to become more fun. It's easy to get stuck in the head of the worries of am I ever going to meet anyone again? Am I ever going to be having sex again? Yes, you are. And you're going to have amazing sex. So when I went through my breakup, I was like, how am I ever going to have sex again? Let me tell you, I have had really, really, really good sex. after my breakup, and I wasn't together with that person. I've just had really good sex because I put more attention into myself. I filled up my own cup. I fill up my own cup daily. That's what I do. I focus on myself. I masturbate more because masturbation, holy moly, it makes you happy. It makes you more aligned. It makes you centered. Did you know that some people masturbate as a form of meditation? So when you are orgasm, there's like a term for this, but when you're orgasmic, when you are having an orgasm at that very moment, you should think about something that you're manifesting. And but I'm just like, how do people think about how does that even pop into their head when they're having an orgasm? Like, oh, I'm gonna think about this that I want to manifest right now. I want to manifest a car. Okay, how am I gonna bring that car? And then also like getting an orgasm as someone with a vagina, it takes a lot of it takes a lot of dedication. You have to be in the zone. Your mind cannot wander because then it's lost. Then it's lost. But it's pretty cool. I like that a lot. I need to look more into that. But just getting to know yourself, getting to know your body, focus on your own pleasure first and foremost. And I'm saying don't worry about the other person's pleasure. I'm saying the other person, that person matters, but so do you. And I'm also saying this because as someone that has grown up being like, oh, my pleasure is not as important as the person, the man that I'm having sex with, it is. It is just as important. It is just as important. Your pleasure is important. I wonder how many times I can say that in this episode. I'm very excited for you to go out there and for you to experience more pleasure. You can start today. You can start massaging your inner thighs or just use your fingertips, caress your inner thighs. What else can you do? Like if you're feeling like I want to get to know my body better, I want to get to know my vulva better, but I don't really want to touch that part of myself. Okay, start with inner thighs. What feels good? Lead you in what feels good. Because sometimes I also feel like we're chasing the orgasm. And a lot of people, like, we have a hard time achieving that orgasm. So when you're with yourself, okay, this touch feels good. How can I take it further? How can I take that further? How will that feel? So that's one thing that you can start doing today. You can start to pay attention to your breath. If you still haven't joined the Pelvic Health Yoga membership, I do encourage you to do so. So we do weekly pelvic floor yoga classes and we focus so much on the breath. And there was a class a couple weeks ago. We're doing this class and we're really intentional with the breathing, which we often are, but also doing it with the poses that we were doing in that specific class. After that class, we were talking about, some of us were like, it feels like my vulva is vibrating. Like it feels like my vulva is actually vibrating. And some people say that they often get aroused because they're focusing on their breath, because that's not something that we do, because you become so in tuned with your body and with your pelvic floor. So if you still haven't joined the Pelvic Health Hero membership, I do encourage you to do so. We have a 30-day free trial when you sign up, and we would love to have you. This space is just absolutely magical. We just had our first class of the year a couple of days ago, and the shares and the tears and the vulnerability and just showing up and sharing your pain, sharing your wins, sharing about yourself, what you're learning about your body, how you are releasing your pain, what you see your pain as, the connections that you make throughout your body. Okay, I have right hip pain, but I'm also noticing that the right side of my rib cage is really, really stuck. Okay, what is the connection there? How can I work with that? I'm noticing that I'm breathing more easily on this side than the other. It's just such a magical space to learn about your body and to learn about yourself. So I'm going to put that little note in I'm going to put the link in the show notes for you to head over, check out the membership, read more about it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. And I'm so excited for you to start this journey because I truly believe that you getting more in tune with yourself, you will see that you're allowed to experience pleasure. But on that note, have a lovely year. It's not like I'm not going to talk to you soon again, but have a lovely year. How can you support your body more this year? And it doesn't have to be the big things. It can be the small things. Drink more water. I just had someone, I was going up the elevator and they were looking at my water bottle and they're like, that's a big water bottle. I don't know how big my water bottle is, but it's pretty big. And I was like, yeah, I know I drink a lot of water. Do you drink more than that? Like more than one of those per day? I'm like, yeah. Like to me, it baffles me that people don't focus on their hydration, but maybe it's because I teach a lot of hot yoga and also I'm in this space and I know how important hydration is for your pelvis, for your pelvic health. But you can focus on drinking more water or just focus on taking your supplements. I know they're hanging out on the counter or the kitchen counter. You're not taking them. Maybe that can be a step. It doesn't have to be something big, but do the small things to support your lovely pelvis and your lovely self this year. And you're going to see that next year it's going to be completely different. Completely different. Okay. Thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you gained a lot from this episode. And please, for the love of God, remember that you are a fucking goddess and you're deserving of all the pleasure, all the love, and all you are worthy of everything. I'll see you soon. Bye.